Trent Dunham, Sean Gallighan, Chris Dodd, and now Dallas McIntosh. These are 4 drivers that we are now almost able to say are confirmed contenders to battle in this season's chase for the Hersheys Cup Series Championship. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here as we get ready for race number 21 of the season. Including this race, there are 6 more races before we determine the 16 drivers that will battle for the Hersheys Cup Series Championship. Now, the reason that I mentioned these 4 is because they all now have been to victory lane a total of 2 times. They all also come into this race in the top 6 in the point standings. So the likelihood is they would have to hit a huge momentum shift, hit a huge cold streak to fall outside the top 3 in the point standings, and being multiple winners this season, they have pretty much all but locked themselves up a spot in this season's chase for the championship. All of them, with the exception of Chris Dodd, looking for their first championship, Dodd looking for his second. We're also getting to the point of the season as well where we can start to add in a couple of more names, a couple of more drivers that have a win this season that more than likely won't fall outside the top 3 in the points. Drivers like Daniel Guilbert, Cole Baker, K Shearer, Keith Batson, as well as Zachary Fitzwater and Dylan Young look like they are in very good shape of making the chase for the championship this season. But then you've got question mark drivers like J Poteet, Benjamin Miles. Last couple of weeks haven't exactly been kind to them. J Richardson has just now recently made his way back into the top 30 in the point standings. Can he stay there? Same for Joshua Michaels, who right now is on the cut line, 3 points ahead of another former winner, 31st in points, Alex Drayton. And then also the question of, can somebody like Anthony McCrury, 35th in the point standings, battle back in these final 6 races to get himself into one of the spots for the championship as he goes for championship number 2? All of those questions are going to be answered by the time the checker flag waves at Super Speedway, but it's still a long road before we get there, and that road takes a turn here to Rockingham Raceway as we get ready for the Subway 400. 50 laps of racing here today, so maybe fuel strategy will come into play. We'll have to wait and see. And a former champion lines up on the pole position, K Mathews in the 09. It's been a bit of a struggling year for K Mathews. He's 38th in the point standings out of 39 drivers. Maybe a trip to victory lane today could turn his season around. Maybe he could get consistent enough finishes that he will be a late bloomer to get one of those playoff spots. We'll have to wait and see. We're going to find out, though, in just a moment, because we're going to go down trackside now and get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Command to fire them up is given. 50 laps of racing here today, so 20 laps more than we had in the Tax Slayer Truck Series and Pizza Hut X Series events here this weekend. And so our stages will be 15, 15, and 20 here today in this one. Last week at Thornton, we saw Dallas McIntosh go to victory lane for the second time this season, so that may have locked himself up a spot in the chase for the championship. But who else could also maybe get their second win of the season, maybe their first win of the season? We'll have to wait and see. Top 10 the points coming into this race are as follows. You've got Trent Dunham, the current points leader, by 4 points over Cole Baker. Daniel Guilbert 3rd, Chris Dodd 4th, Sean Gallighan 5th. McIntosh's win moved him up to 6th with Caleb Farrell, K Shearer, J Gardner, and Keith Batson, your top 10. Right now, only 2 drivers would be in the playoffs based off of points, Farrell and Gardner. We could have that change with another different winner in this race. Here we go. Green flag is out. We're underway at the Rock. Let's roll. K Mathews very quick to take the lead. J Poteet, we mentioned his last couple of weeks not been good, including last week at Thornton, where he was the only driver who sampled the 60-foot drop off the turn of death at Thornton, leading him to a dead last finish, and that dropped him 10 spots in the standings from 11th down to 21st. Also mentioned that J Gardner comes in the final transfer spot of getting in via points. The driver that would be behind him, Blaine Keys. Gardner 9th in points, Keys 11th in the standings. The two of them separated by only 6 points in the standings coming into this race. Blaine Keys, former chaser from the past 2 seasons, as the yellow flag, I believe, is out. It is indeed. Caution coming out here on lap number 2 of this one. So K Mathews led us back to the yellow flag, and now the Dodge Charger pace car will pick him up on Thunder Alley, the back straightaway here of this track. And Levi McIntyre is at the rear of the field there in the 99, along with second in the points, Cole Baker. J Gardner also back there. We mentioned he's fighting for one of those transfer spots via points. Don't know exactly who it was that brought out the caution, but we will find out as we'll take a look at a replay of our first yellow of the day here at Rockingham, North Carolina. Things getting a little congested here in the middle of the pack, and it looks like a little contact between teammates. I don't know if Gallighan moved down or if Baker moved up. Whatever the case, Baker going to go around off the left front of Sean Gallighan. Gardner goes around off the right front of the 44. Both of them then meet up into the safer barrier, and Levi McIntyre, wrong place, wrong time, up in that high groove, just kind of gets boxed in. He gets a little bit of front end damage, a little bit of right side damage as well as he scrapes the safer barrier, but they all are able to get their cars righted, continue on. So basically just a little skirmish up there. I don't think enough to take anybody out of the race, but does put us under the caution though for the first time here today. Now with them having a single file restart, we could have this race go green to the end perhaps, and that could be where the fuel strategy could come into play. Nobody out of the race, so all 39 cars are still running it on the lead lap. And as I stated, now with it being a single file restart and the less likelihood of drivers going 3 wide into the corners, we could be settling in for a long green flag run. So this might be where you'll see the pit crews, the crew chiefs working the calculators down there on pit road, strategizing with their drivers of can we make it the rest of the way on fuel, or are we going to have to pit? If so, when's the best time to do it? K Mathews out in front, D Poteet there in second. Blaine Keys, Brooke Allen, Anthony McCrury, your top 5. Talk about McCrury needing a good run. Had a good starting track position, now in the 5th position. Cody Smart there in 6th with Trent Dunham 7th. Points leader having a great run. JT Bryant, Benjamin Miles, and Emmanuel Hartnett. That is your top 10. As we get ready to come back down here, take the green flag to get us back underway here at Rockingham. With the possibility that this race will start going into a long green flag run, I'm going to take the opportunity to try and look and see who the former winners are this at this racetrack. They're 3 wide back there with Trent Dunham putting Cody Smart in the middle there. Brooke Allen up top side. Top 3 have now, or make that top 4, have broken away. So we got a battle on for second between Poteet, Blaine Keys, and here comes Anthony McCrury thinking about 3 wide down into turn number 1. Will he make that move? Drove it deep, but didn't get to the left rear quarter panel of Blaine Keys. Now we'll move into 3rd place, bypassing Poteet for that position. Keys moves into 2nd. Last season at Rockingham, it was J Gardner who went to victory lane, and we saw that Gardner got involved here in our first caution of the day. So right at the moment, things not looking good for the defending winner of this track to be able to go back-to-back. James Richardson won this track back in Season 3. Season 2, it was J Baskinger who went to victory lane. Baskinger, of course, still looking for his first win of the season this year to try and make it 5 for 5 in making the chase for the championship. And back in Season 1, the inaugural winner of this race, Emmanuel Hartnett, who has now fought his way up into the 6th position, looking for more as he'll go for 5th place off of D Poteet. Hartnett had a good run last week at Thornton. He's now up to 19th in the point standings. Emmanuel Hartnett, a 3-time winner in the Hersheys Cup Series. Hartnett winning at Rockingham here back in Season 1, as we mentioned. He also won at Eldora back in Season 3, and back in Season 4, he had a victory at Point. So 2 of his 3 career wins have come at dirt tracks. But obviously, as we mentioned, he knows how to get around this racetrack as well. Battle here between a couple of teammates, Blaine Keys, Trent Dunham. This is for the 3rd position, as we have a battle for the lead just up ahead. Anthony McCrury has caught K Mathews. Getting close to the end of our first stage, so McCrury trying to see if he can swipe away a very valuable playoff point from K Mathews, as well as 10 valuable stage points, which could help him on his journey to try and get back into the top 30 in the points. Right down there on that yellow line goes McCrury. Still alongside Kyle Mathews down the back straightaway here. Can he make the pass complete? Down here into turn 3. Looks like he will, and now Kyle Mathews caught up there on the top side. Now here comes Trent Dunham and Emmanuel Hartnett to try and take second and third. McCrury coming into this race currently has, I believe, only one stage point. Yeah, I think. Actually, I'm not 100% certain. I'm looking right now, and I don't know if I put down the stage points for Bristol Dirt. I don't see him on the stage wins list. And of course, McCrury went to victory lane at Bristol Dirt this season, so with winning, he would have at least gotten one stage point. So I may actually have to go back and look at the stage winners for Bristol Dirt, because I may not have actually calculated those points. But regardless, McCrury obviously trying to pick up his second, at least to my knowledge, stage win, and he just got it. So McCrury trying to hang on here to pick up win number 2. So far this season, all 3 of the Seth Cole Baker Motorsports cars have been to victory lane at least once. Gallighan's been to victory lane twice. So 4 wins right now amongst the 3 drivers out of SCBM. And while we got a battle back here for second, Kyle Mathews and Emmanuel Hartnett both looking for their first win of the year. And it looks like Hartnett says, I'm a little bit better than you, Kyle. Let me get up there and see if I can battle with that 61. How about Sega Motorsports last couple of weeks, though? All 3 of their drivers still up there in the top 15 in the point standings. 2 of them have 2 wins this season, Dunham and McIntosh. Blaine Key's the lone man out, but he's been very consistent this season. He's running right now in 4th. Trent Dunham right behind him in 5th, and then last week's winner, Dallas McIntosh, there in 6th. So all 3 of the Sega Motorsports cars having another good run here this week. Benjamin Miles right now runs in the 7th position. This is a well-needed run for him. Another driver like Poteet last week that did not have a good run at Thornton and dropped a number of spots in the standings. Benjamin Miles fell to 22nd in the points, dropped 6 spots last week. Alex Drayton, we mentioned him trying to get away a spot from Joshua Michaels. Trying to get back into the top 30 in points as well, 31st in the standings. He's having a solid outing here in 8th, right behind him. Jessica Shelton there in the 9th position in the 0-2, so at least 2 of the Retro Racing Enterprises cars having a good run. Mathews up in the top 3, Shelton there in 9th, and right now Brooke Allen holding on to the 10th position, trying to hold off the 3rd entry from Retro Racing Enterprises, Charles Sanford, right there in 11th. Johnny Gardner, what a comeback for the 55. As well as Levi McIntyre. Saw both of them get involved in the earlier incident. Gardner, a former winner at this racetrack, he is now scored in the 16th position. And McIntyre up there in 17th. Cole Baker now up to 19th. So those 3 have done a nice job. They were our first caution. They are now up inside of the top 20. Good comeback runs for all 3 of those drivers at this current moment in time. See if we got any battle going on here. It's actually between some teammates. That is for the 4th position. Keys has it. McIntosh wants it. Think back to Blaine Keys, the season he had last year. Just barely ended up making the chase for the championship when his teammate Trent Dunham pushed him to victory lane in the regular season finale at M&M's. And then what ended up happening? Blaine Keys was one of the prime contenders for the championship in the Final 4 at Auto Club. Finished 7 points behind the eventual champion of the series, Matt Haas. Battle on for the top position. Hartnett trying to pick up his 2nd career win at this racetrack. McCrury going to hold him off at least for the moment. Hartnett battles back again there out of turn 4. I think he's alongside the left rear quarter panel, and indeed he is. So Emmanuel Hartnett trying to deny Anthony McCrury his bid for 2 wins this season. Hartnett looking for his 1st of the season. Hartnett also trying to go for his 4th win in 5 seasons. We mentioned already he had a win in Season 1, a win in Season 3, and a win last season in Season 4. It was only Season 2 where he did not find victory lane, and Looks like that might continue if this 83 is as strong as he has been this first half of the race, if he continues that here for the second half of the race. We're now midway through this event. Kyle Mathews dropping like a rock. He's now fallen back to 5th. Blaine Keys has fallen back to 9th. McIntosh and Dunham up to 3rd and 4th. Benjamin Miles, Drayton, and Shelton up to 6th, 7th, and 8th. And Charles Sanford has now cracked the top 10 as well. So all 3 of the Sega Motorsports, as well as all 3 of the Retro Racing Enterprises cars, are up here inside of the top 10. There's Miles trying to catch Kyle Mathews here. That would be for 5th place. We're starting to see the drivers that were strong early on fading back. The drivers we didn't really talk about early on starting to move forward. And Miles will get to the inside of Kyle Mathews, at least through turn 1. Can he follow it up out of turn 2? Mathews might clear him and keep the spot, at least for now. I think he will. Depends on his entry here in the corner, and indeed he hangs out for the moment, but Miles going to get back to the throttle sooner, and now we'll pull alongside. So this is the battle for 5th. And now Mathews makes a departure from the top 5. Grade goes by for 6th, and his teammate Shelton will go by for 7th place. McIntosh currently holding the 3rd spot ahead of Trent Dunham. Right now, according to our playoffs grid, Dunham, McIntosh, Dodd, and Gallighan would all be tied for the number 1 seed. That's not counting the stage points. If we looked at the stage points, I have a feeling Dallas McIntosh would actually be the leader of that. No, actually it would be a tie between himself and his teammate Trent Dunham. Although Keith Batson coming to this race has the most stage wins with 5. McIntosh and Dunham each having 4. K Tellier, Chris Dodd, Miles, Gallighan, Poteet, Baker, Guilbert, Young, and Shearer all have 3. And I think a number of the names I just mentioned there are going to more than likely be representatives in the battle for this season's chase for the championship. 20 laps remaining. And while yes, Emmanuel Hartnett caught and passed Anthony McCrury, he has not driven away from him. McCrury could very well have decided he didn't want to put up that much of a fight against Hartnett and try and preserve his equipment and have something saved for later on in this race. And of course, still the possibility that these drivers might have to make green flag pit stops. We don't know what the fuel window is here at Rockingham, since we didn't have any pit stops at all in either the Truck Series or Pizza Deck Series races here this weekend. So it's a complete blank slate, a question mark for us of whether these drivers can make it the full 50 laps that were scheduled today on 1 tank of fuel, or will they at some point have to come to pit road. They did have that 1 early caution back on lap 2 to try and save a little bit of fuel under pacing, but even then, are they able to make it the rest of the way before the checkered flag waves? Another thing that could come into play too, you'll notice right there, is Cody Smart's 12. He's not too far ahead of these race leaders. That could shake things up. Lap traffic could play a factor into the outcome of who's going to win this race. Look at there, McCrury had a nice run there out of 2 on the back straightaway. I thought he might make a move on Hartnett for the race lead, but I guess he feels it's not yet time. McCrury's been here before. He's a former champion. He knows how to get it done. McCrury has also already got himself a stage win. Hartnett now has a stage win as well here today, so McCrury with these stage points making a case for himself to climb up through the standings closer to 30th in the points. Thought about taking the lead there from Hartnett, and I think right there, more than Hartnett driving it deeper into the corner, I think McCrury may have lifted a little and let Hartnett have the spot back. I think he may have thoughts about using that 12 car of Cody Smart maybe as a potential pick. Talk about these drivers and the great seasons they've had. Cody Smart completely on the opposite side of that spectrum. You think back to last season when he ran in the Hersheys Cup Series non-charter system. 3 wins, 3 trips to victory lane. Came in here with a chartered ride, I believe, loaning the charter from Anthony McCrury, if I'm not mistaken, who just bypassed him. Cody Smart coming into this race is dead last in the point standings. 39th out of 39 drivers by 1 point behind the driver who came into this race, leading a good portion of this race, K Mathews. McIntosh now clears Cody Smart, and Trent Dunham has now fallen back into the clutches of Benjamin Miles and company, so the battle is on for 5th. Miles, Drayton, Sanford, Brandon Gonzales, Jessica Shelton all up in this group. We're going to go 3 wide maybe off turn 4. Nope, they remain double wide. And right now, this basically takes these drivers out of the hunt for this win. I think they realize that. For drivers like Dunham and Miles and Drayton, they're just trying to get as many points as possible. So that way their one win might put them in the point standings. For Sanford and Gonzales and Shelton, they're getting up there, so that way they'll be in better stead in the point standings heading into our next races, as Charles Sanford has hit the pit lane. So that answered our question. Apparently they cannot make it on fuel. McCrury also was just on pit road. McCrury maybe thinking fresher tires will help him beat Emmanuel Hartnett. Some strategy going on there. Now Dylan Young, there you see, along with Tim Walsh, there on pit lane. K Shearer, McIntosh gives up the 2nd spot. Miles is in. Trent Dunham almost lost it, trying to get onto pit road. Gonzales, Shelton, Gardner, and McIntyre, they're all on pit road. It looks like Hartnett may be coming to pit lane this time. He just got around Zachary Fitzwater, putting Fitzwater down a lap, and boy, that seemed a little fast coming to pit road for Hartnett. Last thing he wants to do is get tagged for speeding. Cody Smart's in, Drayton, Mathews is in. It's like that's Sanford going around there. He already had pitted. Doesn't look like anybody's staying out from the group that stayed out that last lap, and Hartnett is down and away. Oh, little contact right there between, it looked like Mathews and somebody, and Levi McIntyre just got spun around on pit road right in front of Daniel Gilbert and Cody Llamas. No caution, though. Now we're going to look for the 61 of McCrury, see where he comes out in relation to Hartnett. There is McCrury. Hartnett's down there on the bottom. McCrury has swung around, and I believe the 61 is now the new race leader. So that earlier pit stop was the key, apparently, for McCrury to, at least for now, take the top position. Let's wait and see what the scoring says. It's actually got Caleb Farrell in the 95 scored in the race lead, so I think Farrell may have stayed out an extra lap to get himself a lap-led bonus point. But I think when we come around this next time, it will have the 61 in the race lead, and when he hits the line, it will be 8 laps to go. Still a lot of traffic ahead of him, and Hartnett's not too far back. Let's see if McCrury does cycle the leader. He does. Hartnett is in second, a little over a second back. McIntosh crossed the line in 3rd with Miles and Sanford the top 5. Dunham's in 6th, Shelton 7th, Gonzales in 8th, Drayton 9th, and I believe it's showing Blaine Keys in the 10th position. So that earlier pit stop, McCrury came to pit road about 2 laps before Hartnett did. And was that pit stop the difference maker? He's now got a lap car of J Arndt between himself and Hartnett. Now trying to put another lap car between himself and the 83, that being the 10 of Joshua Michaels. He's also got Nathan Hudson just up ahead there as well in the 29. Does Hartnett have enough time to catch back up to McCrury and pass him once again? 6 laps to go. Drop back to the 83. He's got to get around the 10 of Michaels and the 05 of Arndt before he can concentrate on Anthony McCrury, who is now trying to get by Nathan Hudson and put him a lap down. And Hartnett still stuck behind the 05 and the 10. The big problem for Emmanuel Hartnett is these are not damaged cars here. These drivers are up to speed, just had the misfortune of bad track position, maybe bad pit strategy, and it's put them back where they are. So Hartnett's not going up against a driver he can just blow by. These drivers are going to put up a fight. You see him right there, you saw him kind of side to side there, looking left, looking right, trying to find a line to be able to get by both of them, but he was just boxed in there on the back straightaway. 4 laps to go for Anthony McCrury, who doesn't seem like he wants to in any way put up a fight with Nathan Hudson up ahead. I think he's more than satisfied to let Hudson be ahead of him and stay on the lead lap. Hartnett, on the other hand, is doing all he can to try and get by Joshua Michaels and J Arndt, who right now are a moving wall in front of him and not allowing him any forward progress to catch Anthony McCrury. Every lap that ticks away is one last opportunity for Hartnett to get up there and battle with the 61, and oh my goodness, right there, McCrury, I guess, decided it's go time. He almost moved Nathan Hudson out of the way, and maybe it's because Manuel Hartnett just got around J Arndt and now is about to maybe get around Joshua Michaels. So maybe a sense of urgency, knowing that the 83 passed a car. McCrury feels he has to pass a car in turn. But he's got 2 more laps to go. McCrury trying to become the 5th two-time winner this season. Sega Motorsports has 2 two-time winners. If McCrury closes the deal, Seth Colbaker Motorsports will have 2 two-time winners along with Sean Gallighan. And it looks like that's going to be the case. Still about a second and a half back to Hartnett and a bit of traffic as well. White flag displayed for Anthony McCrury. Could this be the race that'll put McCrury back into the championship bid? With this win, he'll get his 2nd trip to victory lane, but will he also make his way back into the top 30 in the point standings? We will find out when we see the points after this one. And out of turn 4 for the final time, the Subway 400 will go to Anthony McCrury, win number 2 here this season at The Rock. And folks, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut this video short. I can't go through your finishing results with you verbally. So with McCrury taking this win, here come your full finishing results, your rookie points and your overall points heading into next week. We will see you guys at Daytona, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.